Do you know who the Ride or Die gang is? Yeah, that's the gang that we were beefing with too, out the 8th Ward. Do you know who Deloitte Jones is, or Byron Jones? Yeah, that's Puggy. Do you know that Puggy was indicted for this murder? Do I know that? Yeah. No. Would you have let the Ride or Die gang... Did you like Ride or Die? No. If I'd caught Puppy, I'd kill him. I killed his partner. Would you let Puggy off a charge to help him? No. Would I look like helping him and put my friend in jail? Did you see Percy again after the shooting? Yeah. After the shooting, we went by his house, like, the next day, and we were talking about it. I really couldn't talk to him at first because, you know, we ain't do nothing for him and that dude paralyzed behind nothing. So I told him, like, son, you know, we handled that. I'm like, it wasn't a dude who shot you, but it's one of his friends. They gonna cry behind that. How did Percy react to that? He just was like saying thank you. Did Woody commit any other murders with you after this one? No. And how would you describe Woody in terms of, you know, a real killer or, you know, no, Woody ain't no killer like that. I mean, at the end of the day, he had to do what he had to do. He had to do that for himself because at the end of the day, he ain't, like, if you don't do nothing about that, then because he ain't ride for the dude he be rocking with. I want to turn your attention to March of 2010. Did McCoy Walker ever tell you about a shooting he did where he tried to shoot Slugger? Yeah. Well, Merle told him to handle that because he was in gutter car. But they thought that was Merle because he described the dude like chubby with hair on his face. So he ain't know the dude. So we told him like, man, handle that. Like Merle told him like, man, that's the nigga, handle that. And he shot the dude up. Now, back up a little. Are you with Merle when this conversation is going on? I was standing right there, but I talked to Merle after he got off the phone with him. He like, man, objection, hearsay, judge, co-conspirator statement overruled. What did Merle tell you when he got off the phone? He said that them boys uptown got Slugger up there. He buy a whole house. Did y'all say anything about what they were going to do about it? He said they about to handle that. And why did they think it was Slugger? Because he was in Gutter car. And what kind of car did Gutter have? An Infiniti. A Q56, I believe. Did you see McCoy Walker after that event? After that day? Well, did he ever talk to you about shooting that car? Well, I mean, like, I don't really know all the way from back then like that. I just know that, you know, Judge, I object. He says he doesn't know. Objection sustained. Did Merle ever talk to you about it? Yeah, Merle talked to me about it when Rat came up there. He just said that Rat handled the business or whatever like that. But after that, we found out that it wasn't. It wasn't Slugger. It was a dude Elton out the 4th Ward. Judge, again, he is not responding to the question and there's no foundation for his testimony. Objection sustained. Reframe your question. Who told you it was Elton and not Slugger? Evans, because that was Evans. That was Evans' friend. Did Evans, to your knowledge, go speak to Elton? Yeah, he went to the hospital. Why? To make sure that the dude don't tell because it wasn't really for him. And to your knowledge, did Evans go to the hospital and have that conversation? Yeah, he talked to him. He said he wasn't going to tell. He said that he knew that wasn't for him, and Evans told him that just stay out that car. You know that he ain't supposed to be in that car knowing that we beefing with them dudes. I want to turn your attention to April of 2010. Were you ever involved in a shooting outside of, like, a teen nightclub or something in the warehouse district? Hold up, what you said? Was there ever a shooting outside of a bar in the warehouse district or downtown? Oh yeah, at a little teenager club. Okay. Can you tell the jury what happened with that? Well, you know, I really don't be going to teenager clubs like that. I just went on a pounding them, Evans and them. They wanted to go do a little party or whatever. When we got to the party, I was in Elo Cadillac truck and I was sitting in the parking lot. But you know, we're gonna ride with guns because we don't know what really could happen when we go to a party. And I'm chilling, talking to a girl or whatever like that in the parking lot, sitting in the driver's seat. And the party, like, it's about to be over. They coming out the little hall that they at. And they just started shooting. Like, they had a shooting. I don't know what they got into behind some dudes. They just started shooting at each other. So, like, I ducked because I don't really know what's going on. The girl took out running. So I just see, like, shots going off right close to me. And then the shells burning my chest because I had a Dickie shirt on. And the shells was, like, hitting me in my chest. So I know that's real shooting. So when we pull off, like, to leave, because now I'm about to pull off, and that's who shooting? Jasmine Perry. Okay. And where is he shooting? From the back, behind me. Like, I'm in the driver's seat. He behind the driver's seat with the gun hanging out there. And what kind of gun? An AK. And who is he shooting at? I don't know the dudes he was shooting at. We don't know them. All right. And where did you all go? We went by one of the girls' house that I used to be messing with out of the Calliope. She stayed on Tulane. We went and dropped the gun off on Tulane. When we dropped the gun off on Tulane, Pound called me and was like, man, you left me. I'm like, man, you ain't never come with me. I'm like, man, I thought you was with Jesse and them. So I went and picked Pound up. When I went and picked Pound up in the same Cadillac truck, he get in the car and real, like, saying what he did, like, how he was shooting. I'm like, man, you didn't shot at them dudes. You don't even know who the that was. So they just talking. And then I look in the mirror and I see the police behind us, but they don't got the lights on. Sorry to interrupt. Who else is in the car at this point? It's me, Evans, Pound, Rail, Walt. It's a few of us in the car. Okay. And you said you saw the police. What happened next? Well, I saw the police. I'm like, man, y'all got a gun on you? I'm like, all right, Pound, you got a gun on you? He like, yeah. He got the Taurus on him. So I'm like, man, we by the French Quarter. We can't run these people. I'm like, man, I'm about to pull over at this store. I want to get out. You just get out too and go stash your gun in the store by the aisle. So I pulled over, and when I pulled over, we jumped at the car and put the gun in the aisle. So when I come out the store, the police laid me down, like, get down on the ground. So I'm like, man, what's going on? He like, man, this car been in the shooting. I'm like, man, you tripping. I'm like, man, you crazy. So he like, man, yeah, this car been in the shooting. So they searching the car. They got all of us on the ground. So they like, man, you ain't gonna tell us what happened? I'm like, no, I don't know what happened. So they like, you going to jail for suspended license. I'm like, I don't care. I'm a bond out. So who went to jail that night, or who went to the police station? Me, Pound, and Evans. But like, the reason why, see, at first, I was just about to go to jail, but they see Rail shaking on the ground. And then he like, man, that dude, something up. He like, man, that dude's shaking. So they went in the store and rewound the cameras, and that's how they found out that they stashed the gun in the aisle. And then they grabbed Pound, they grabbed Evans, but Pound got charged with it, and I got charged for suspended license. When I came home, he was like, he called in like to bond him out. And I asked Merle like, man, you gonna help me bond him out? And Merle like, no, that's your little son. Them niggas need some money. They need to, keep money themselves. So Pound Mama came and met me, and I gave her the money. I'm going to show you what's previously been admitted as Government Exhibit 136. Judge, we've already seen this. I'd object. The witness wasn't present for this, I think, by his own testimony. What is the relevance of this for this particular witness at this point? Gregory, do you recognize the two people in this video? Yeah, I walked in. I'm at the counter. Who is the guy with the dreadlocks? Evans. All right. Can you see what his shirt says? Rest in peace, Giz. Who is Giz? Giz is one of their BMG partners who got killed by June. And do you know June's real name? Little John Haynes. And I'll show you the other angle and ask if you can identify the other guy, please. Again, Your Honor, let me object. Objection overruled. Can you tell who that is with the short hair? Yeah, that's Pound. That's Ashton Price? Yes. I'm sorry, did you rule on my objection? Yes, overruled. And both of these guys were with you that night? Yes. Thank you, that's enough. Your Honor, can we take a break now? Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our morning break right now. Please proceed, Mr. Rainier. Gregory, do you remember the day that Cheddar Black was killed? Yes. What were you doing that day? We were chilling by the wing shack. And tell me again where the wing shack is. The wing shack on Desire by the Florida Project. And who was at the wing shack? Me, Breezy, Merle, Evans, Leroy, Pound. It was all us, except for the dudes off 3rd and G. And what were y'all doing out there that day? That's where we'd be hanging at. And did you see Slugger that day? Yeah. Slugger pulled up on the corner, was talking to a dude first, and we synced him. And we knew something was up because we don't never supposed to see each other unless it's gonna go down. And he pulled off though, and we were like, man, something gonna go down. That dude gonna send them dudes around here. Then the police passed. Okay. Well, what did you do? What, when the police passed? Uh-huh. When the police passed, I ran and went and put the gun up first. Well, what gun did you have? The 223. The Kel-Tac 223 Breezy gun. And how long had you had Breezy's gun? I had it already, you know. When I seen Slugger, I had went and got it. And where did you get the gun from? Out the alley. How far is the alley from the wing shack? It ain't that far. It just be right behind the wing shack. So after you saw the police, you put the gun back. What happened next? Well, when I put the gun back and I came back out front, the police were like, y'all hang around here, huh? And we were like, we about to go. So the police pulled off. When the police pulled off, not 2 minutes later, the dude Gutter, he was driving. Gutter, Cole, and Bo, they pulled up. And when they pulled up, I'm shocked because I don't know, I know something about to go down. But I can't say watch out because, I'm scared right now. So I took out running. They start shooting. When they start shooting, all of us was on the porch. They were 10 of us on the porch or something. How many shots did you hear? It was a lot of shots. Did you see them shooting? Well, I took off before they started shooting. I'm going to show you a picture again of Slugger's group. This is from Exhibit 382. You said you saw Gutter? Yeah. Did you see Cole? Yeah. Is that a picture of Bo? No, that's Donald Daniels. That's Donald Daniels? Yeah. Okay. But you saw Gutter and Cole, correct? Yeah. Alright. When the shooting stopped, what did you do? When the shooting stopped, I came back up with the gun, but they already was pulled off. Cheddar was laying there dead, and Derek, Gucci Man, he was laying there dead too. I knew they was dead because they wasn't moving and all that. The boys crying. How many people are out there at this point? It's, well, I can say it was probably 12 of us or something like that. Okay, and how were people reacting? They crying because, Cheddar, Cheddar got killed and all that. We were mad behind the situation. What happened? So I told Breezy and them. I'm like, man, them dudes ain't far. We could jump in the car and go catch them. So Merle told me his gun jammed up. He had an XD40, so I unjammed his gun. And he was like, I'm like, come on, we about to go catch them boys. And he what car we gonna go in? I'm like, we gonna go in your car. So we went in his Audi Q7. We jumped in there. I told him turn the corner right there on Gallier, and I think that's Law Street. They had an AK-47 sitting in the grass already, just in case, if we ever was to. If somebody was to come, shooting like that, and they trying to run you down, and you could run that way to try to save yourself and grab the gun out the grass and shoot back. So we pull up right there, and I got the gun. I got the AK out the grass. When I got the AK out the grass, we go up the street. I think we go up the street. We pass up. We get to Louisa Street now. It's turned to Louisa Street. And we coming up the street, and they pass, leaving out the Desire Project. All right, do you have a pen up there? You can even use your finger. You can draw kind of which way you were coming. All right. Speak by the microphone. This is Florida Avenue right here. So we come up this street right here. I don't know what street is the project, but I think it's Higgins Boulevard or something. It's right by the park. The park the park sitting right there. They come out the street. They come out this street right here. And when they come out that street right there, they pass us up. When they pass us up, we make the left and we come up a street right here to get to Clouet Street. And the dudes, Cole and Bo, they jumped out with the guns to stash it, but Gutter was still in the car. So I told Merle, I'm like, man, listen, just pull over. I want to go run them dudes down. I'm like, pull over. I want to run the dudes down who just got out the car, and y'all kill the dude who in the car. So that was the plan. When I jumped out the car, Merle and Breezy started shooting first. So when I'm about to run past, Merle shot me in my arm on mistake because, he never did that before. So when he shot me on mistake, now the gun that I got, it got like 70 rounds in there, and I can't really hold it too long. So instead of running behind them dudes, I just shot the dude who was in the car. The driver, I just shot him with my bullets until I knew that he was dead. I shot him up and then jumped in the car. When I jumped in the car, we knew that the dude was dead, but Cole and Bo got away. They dropped their guns and ran. So I'm telling Merle, like, I'm hit. I'm like, man, I gotta go to the hospital. So he like, all right, we're gonna stash the guns. So we went and stashed the guns. And Merle like, man, look, I'm gonna go back to the scene by Cheddar. And Breezy, you bring him to the hospital. So Breezy brought me to the hospital. When I get to the hospital, Breezy just dropped me off and left. So the police asked me like, man, where you get shot at? So I'm like, man, I got shot by the wing shack. Because if I tell them somewhere else and they ain't had no shooting there, then it look like I'm lying. I know I just killed Gutter, so I'm not about to say no other place. I need an alibi to say, where I got shot at. So I got shot. I told them I got shot by the wing shack. So they like, all right. And how long were you at the hospital? I wasn't at the hospital long because it was an in and out wound in my arm. And when I'm about to leave out, the investigator's right there to come and get me. And did they take you somewhere? Did they interview you at the hospital? They interviewed me at the hospital, but they took me to the headquarters. And how long were you at headquarters? Some hours, because that happened during the daytime. By the time I got out there, it was nighttime. And how did you leave the police station? Did you get a ride? Yeah, I called my friends and told them like, come get me some. I'm at the police. I'm at the headquarters. Come get me. And they let me go. Who came and picked you up? It was a bunch of them in a car. I forgot really who all came and picked me up, to tell you the truth. All right. Where did they take you? We went by Merle's mama house. And what is Merle's mom's name? Miss Pat. And who was at Miss Pat's house? Merle was at Miss Pat's house. Evans and them was at Miss Pat's house. It was a few of them. A few of them was there. And what were people talking about? What was the mood like? When I got there, I went straight by Merle because I ain't had no shoes. The police had took my shoes. I had some hospital papers, so like some paper slippers on. So I went and got some shoes. And I'm talking to Merle. He was like, he made a mistake and shot me and stuff like that. And I'm asking him, where Breezy and them at? He like, Breezy and them, they riding. They trying to look for Slugger to kill him. So I'm like, man, come on, let's go. I still can shoot. I'm like, it's just my arm. I just can't like move. I can't swing the gun, but I could just hold it and shoot somebody. So I'm like, come on, man, let's go meet with them or get in the car with them. Because Breezy and Derek in the car, and Derek ain't no shooter like that. And he and Baby in the car, and Baby really ain't no shooter either. So I was like, man, I'll go ride with them. I just don't want them dudes to get caught up bad. And so, who did you leave with? Me and Merle. And where did you all go? We went to the east. And what were y'all looking for in the east? We basically was looking for Slugger. We was looking for Slugger, but I'm trying to get in the car. I was trying to get in the car where the guns at. Me and Merle didn't have no guns. Were y'all able to find any guns? No. Breezy and them ride with the guns. Breezy and them, they 2 cars deep. They ride with the guns. Breezy, Leroy, Nell, they in one car. And then Baby, Poonie, Derek, and Trap, he in another. At any point, did you get information that they had found Slugger? Well, when I kept on asking them where they going and all of that, and when we make it there, they going to another exit. And when we get off Louisa, like, we heard gunshots and stuff like that. When we heard the gunshots, then the lights went off on Almanaster, like, all of the lights went off. So when all of the lights went off, we just passing by. And Rat called me, and he was like, where you at, man? I'm like, man, I'm downtown. Where you at? And he said, I'm by where you get the perp from. And the perp is weed. I be going to meet the dude by day and night on Almanaster. He like, come get me. I'm like, we're Poonie and them out. He said, all of them dead. So I'm thinking, Poonie, Derek, and Baby dead because Rat was in the car with them. In the car, I think it crashed. And it crashed and went into a house. So I'm like, man. This is McCoy Walker telling you this? Yes. Okay, so did you go pick up McCoy? Yeah, I went and picked him up by day and night, me and Merle. And where did y'all take McCoy? We took him uptown by his girlfriend. And then what did you and Merle do? We went back downtown. Were you able to find out the truth about who was actually dead? Yeah. Later on that day, we found out it was just Baby. Baby the driver, he got killed. And Derek and Poonie, they must have was knocked out in the car. But Derek went to jail because my gun was in the car. They had my gun in my name, and it was in the car. And they left the gun in the car, so Derek had a probation violation for that because he didn't want to tell what happened or whatever like that.